drink you ever made.
Kool-Aid, Kool-Aid.
Be sure that the envelope says Kool-Aid.
Hit me!
Ladies and gentlemen, get into it. It's now time.
Man, you know. Get into it, get on up.
A question that I'm sure many people ask themselves is, what is going on? Especially with the older generation, like folks like me that are part of what I consider the older generation, young in many ways, as with many other people who feel that way. But although I often say that history does repeat itself, and it often does, you see things, and one generation experiences another thing, and then it goes by again, and then it may be seen again. However, over the years, I've seen things happen over and over again. I really don't know what direction I'm going to head with this video, but I'll begin. I was saw an article or video newscast about statues, religious statues being burned, and reminds me of the riots that happened recently and the bringing down of statues all over the place. And now churches are being attacked and their religious symbols, which isn't very different as to the things that the terrorists have done overseas in the Middle East with the destruction of religious monuments in order to erase what is true or what people can learn from. And here on this platform, you can find countless videos with different things. You go online, as I always recommend folks to do, is go online and do the research yourself. I said in my previous video, don't go to things like Snopes. And coincidentally, I did a video and mentioned Snopes about not going to Snopes, who's supposed to be some type of fact checker. And another channel, Really Graceful, I ran across her video yesterday speaking specifically on and about Snopes and what their true history is. And I say that they're left-leaning. I tell people, do not go to your favorite mainstream media website. Go out there. There's plenty of people, a lot of very intelligent, wise people that have information that you can go into. And I'm sure that God will give you the discernment to know what is right and what is true. But this is what we're facing today. Churches are being burnt down now. You got people full of so much hate. And it's a group of people that have absolutely no God in them. It's an absolute shame. I use that phrase all the time, absolute shame. And that's what it is. You got to wake up and stop drinking the Kool-Aid, folks, and realize what's really going on. You know, they went after our freedoms, like telling us to put masks on, scaring us with some type of thing that's going around, which...
Does wearing a face mask prevent coronavirus from spreading? Should people start stockpiling them now?
No. If you're healthy and walking about, there's really no need to be wearing the mask. It's a false sense of security.
I'm not saying there isn't, so please let me make that clear. However, how it's being used, it's kind of suspect. And I'm sure there are many patriots out there that would agree. So I ask you, please go out there and do the research. Red pill someone with some true knowledge and real logic.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Religious symbols are under attack. That's an obvious thing. It's just not Confederate statues. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. I always say that. And one of the things that I think people don't really take notice of because mainstream media doesn't really cover it. They give you little tidbits. But this situation that I'm about to talk about is a lot heavier than that. And once again, it's one of those things that the media tells you to look one way, and these politicians tell you to look one way. Like right now, they want us to look at President Trump's taxes. I really don't care about Trump's taxes. The man has been in business for decades. I'm not saying that, but you would think that he would have to be very, very careful. It isn't like Martha Stewart. Remember her back in the day? She was in the limelight, and she gets caught out there. Prior to him being president, I'm sure there was something going on. So it would have happened then, especially during the time of his election. They would have looked into it and found something. It's not a big secret, but hey, we want his taxes. So therefore, Everybody's looking there, or the media wants us to look there.
Please disperse. Nothing to see here, please.
There is no there. That's what it is. What there is of there isn't this that's going on also with these pedophile rings and pedophiles and sex traffickers and human traffickers being arrested and caught almost everywhere. Around the world it's going on. Right here, NBC News did cover a little bit. Massive pedophile ring busted, 230 kids saved. Right there, that's up on top when went on the search engine and said pedophiles arrested. And here you got a whole bunch here of things that are going on. You know, our children are not safe. People are not safe. You know, that's what's going on. But people don't realize that because, obviously people are not safe with all this rioting and looting that's going on. But a lot of stuff is being missed, and this is one of them. You know, here a COVID sting, 30 pedophiles arrested they were trying to attempt to meet children, you know. New Jersey predator who says pedophiles are victims of law. Really? But okay, I'm not even going to go there. American fugitive arrested in Jakarta. I always tell folks, you don't have to take my word for it. Go out there and research it. But here it is, page after page after page. Of course, they stick in some type of, and I hate to use the term, but I'm going to say conspiracy theory to try to debunk something else that's going on. Look the other way, folks. Look the other way. There's nothing here. You know how it is. But look, page after page. They've had people drinking the Kool-Aid for quite some time, and they, as I always say, they have some type of ulterior motive. They have an agenda. And that agenda does not include us. It does not include patriots. And those of you that are liberals and support liberals and Democrats, and I'm not just saying it's just all left-leaning. You do have rhinos out there. However, it's more prevalent when you see it within liberals. Those of you that support liberals, you got to realize, if you're not part of that club, then you're not going to be part of anything. You're going to be left behind. Because if folks haven't noticed, we're all suffering this thing, all these lockdowns. And it isn't like, hey, if you're a Democrat, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to wear a mask. You don't have to quarantine. Quarantine is for actual sick people. I don't know why they have healthy people quarantined. I don't understand how they want to release felons from prison at the boatloads because they want to keep down this COVID thing, but yet they didn't have a problem with putting people into nursing homes, which killed thousands. If it was such a danger, why haven't homeless people been taken off or they being tested? They don't do any social distancing or anything like that, and they're living out in the streets or whatever. I'll tell you what, man, this is a plan that they've had for a long time.
Frank, how many times have I told you you cannot trust the system? I told you when you're in the system, they switch the flip and you're done. Man, satellites, cell phones, chips, net, the web, the dentist. Do you know what's wrong with this country?
They're all trying to kill us?
Exactly.
They have put us in the middle of the fray. They have put us in the line of fire with this war that they have, this political war. And we are victims of friendly fire. That's what it is. It's a war, and we are victims of friendly fire. They don't really care about us. It's all about what legacy of money they can have, because that's the bottom line, is money. I still am befuddled as to how someone like Pelosi is worth over $200 million working in Congress. All of them. They haven't done any real work. Remember when AOC first was elected, one of the first things she was talking about is that they should get a raise. You know, people in Congress should get a raise. Well, they did sneak in a raise. Coronavirus bill. Remember that first stimulus, the whole thing. They gave themselves a raise. They gave $25 million to the Lincoln Center, and then they still laid off workers. We got to keep track of all these things because they do have a plan of attack. And it's pretty scary. Check this out.
What we're actually seeing is the systematic implementation of the fall of the Republic and the rise of the corporation of the United States. Every major event is a step in the ladder to achieve that end. COVID is just another rung in the ladder, which is why there's a deliberate mixing of all the wordplay, right? I mean, we should stop calling it, quarantine. That's a term designated for people that are verified sick. This is a house arrest mandated by the state. We should stop calling it, social distancing. There's nothing social about forced isolation. We should stop saying safer at home when millions of Americans don't have basic necessities adequate to fit their needs. It assumes that everybody's home is equally as safe as the people that are making the statements. We should stop saying, this is for the greater good, right? When you close the economy, killing millions of businesses that families have worked generations to establish, that's anything but good.
You can give your youngsters a lot of pleasure with Kool-Aid. You know it's pure and good.
They act like they have our best interest at hand. But look at the destruction that has been going on. And then you have people like Nancy Pelosi who always argues about the children, but yet she's one of those big proponents when it comes to abortion. She's also one of those big proponents when the president is trying to get something good done. Not one time have I heard any legislation coming from the left on trafficking, child trafficking, sex trafficking, or anything like that. Just don't hear it. But you know what? We're giving up our rights. Should we continue to give up our rights? Are we keeping an eye on the future of our children? Or are we going to give them up also? I am the Monster Jammer KSG. I want to thank Arnie Beiser for that clip, which I got off of him. And give a shout out to everyone out there. I pray blessings for each and every one of you. Keep me in your prayers. Once again, this is SOCKS. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button.
It's 11 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
Baruch Hashem and amen.